Miss Vance, your 3 o'clock is ready. I waved Amelia in with my free hand, while wrapping up notes from my previous client meeting. The Garrison merger documents sat neatly stacked on my polished walnut desk, each page annotated with precise observations in my characteristic small, neat script. Your presentation was excellent, Mr. Tanaka, said through my phone speaker. The board will be delighted with these projections. Thank you, Arthur, I replied. I'll have the final revisions to you by morning. I ended the call and checked my watch, my grandmother's vintage Omega, the one piece of family jewelry I wore daily. 2:58, perfect timing. The phone rang again. I almost let it go to voicemail but noticed the caller ID. Summit Ridge Bank. Probably about the Garrison financials. Eleanor Vance speaking. Miss Vance, this is Daniel Foster from Summit Ridge Bank's mortgage division. His tone carried an edge that made me sit straighter. I'm calling about the missed payments on your property at 1847 Willow Creek Drive. My hand froze over the Garrison papers. There must be some mistake. I don't own any property on Willow Creek Drive. According to our records, you took out a mortgage for this property 4 months ago. We've been trying to reach you about 3 missed payments, totaling $16,000. The room tilted slightly. I pressed my palm flat against the cool desk surface. That's impossible. I never signed anything. I'm looking at the paperwork right now. I'll email you copies. Please do. My voice stayed steady, even as my throat constricted. Sending now. My computer chimed. The email appeared in my inbox with attachments. I clicked, and the documents filled my screen. The signature page drew my attention like a magnet. Name. My signature. Except the slight upward flick on the V. The rounded of that looked more like my mother's handwriting than mine, the spacing between letters that wasn't quite right. Memory flashed. 3 months ago. Sunday dinner at my parents' house. Mother sliding papers across the table with a bright smile. Just some birthday paperwork to sign, honey. For tax purposes. I'd been distracted, watching Chloe showing off photos of her new house on her phone. The house somehow afforded on a teacher's salary. The house with the wraparound porch she'd always dreamed of. On Willow Creek Drive. My stomach lurched. I minimized the mortgage documents and pulled up my email history. There they were. My mother's increasingly frequent questions about my financial statements, wrapped in casual concern. Just making sure you received all your tax documents, dear. Did that investment report from Sterling Investments come through? The room spun again. I gripped the edge of my desk, my knuckles white against the dark wood. The signatures swam before my eyes, forged by the same hand that had written encouraging notes in my lunchbox, signed my report cards, penned birthday cards year after year. Miss Vance. Daniel's voice snapped me back. Are you there? The lawyer in me took over. I reached for a legal pad with perfectly steady hands. Yes. Please give me the exact dates of the mispayments. I documented everything. Dates, amounts, account numbers. My writing remained precise, despite the tremor I could feel building inside my chest. The professional mask stayed firmly in place while Daniel detailed the mounting late fees and impact on my credit score. I'll need copies of all related documents, I said, my voice clipped and controlled. Everything associated with this mortgage. Of course. I'll have our fraud department. No, the word came out sharper than intended. Not yet. Send everything to me. I ended the call and sat motionless, staring at the evidence of my family's betrayal glowing on my screen. The slight imperfections in the forged signature blurred as my eyes burned. My phone buzzed. Liam O'Connell's name appeared. My closest friend since law school, now a partner at a rival firm. My finger hovered over the screen. They're my family. There has to be an explanation. But I could hear my own voice in the courtroom, arguing countless financial fraud cases. Forgery is forgery, even when it's done by family members. In fact, that betrayal of trust makes it worse. I answered Liam's call. Hey, superstar. Heard you crushed the Garrison presentation. Drinks to celebrate. Liam, my voice cracked slightly. I need your help. Professionally. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I lowered the phone and turned to stare out my office window at the city skyline. My screen lit up with notifications. 3 missed calls from my mother. Then a text message appeared. Sweetheart, we need to talk about some paperwork. I watched the cursor blink at the end of her message, my throat tight with unshed tears and rising anger. The sunlight caught my grandmother's watch, making the crystal sparkle. The last gift she'd given me before she died, pressed into my hands with whispered words. Stay strong, my girl. Not everyone deserves your trust. I hadn't understood then. Did now. 8:10 to 6:11. Isabella Rossi's finger traced the credit score graph on her tablet screen. In 14 months. Your parents were thorough. The conference room at Liam's law firm smelled of fresh coffee and stale fear. Late afternoon sun slanted through the windows, casting long shadows across the scattered financial documents covering the polished table. My shoulders ached from hunching over paperwork for the past 3 hours. Let me understand this. I pressed my fingertips against my temples. While I was helping Mother plan her Lakeside Country Club fundraiser, she was opening credit cards in my name. 3 credit cards. Isabella swiped to the next screen. Her coral blazer stood out against the room's muted grays, much like her direct manner contrasted with Liam's gentler approach. 2 personal loans, 1 business loan. And they used your investment portfolio as collateral. My hand froze halfway to my coffee cup. My what? The $180,000 in your sterling investments account. Isabella's dark eyes met mine. They accessed it using information from those tax documents you signed. Birthday paperwork. The words tasted bitter. I pushed back from the table, my chair wheels squeaking against the hardwood. The city skyline beyond the window blurred as I blinked hard. Liam's hand settled on my shoulder. Take a minute, Ellie. I don't need a minute. My voice came out sharper than intended. I need to understand how they did this. Isabella spread printouts across the table like a dealer laying out cards. Bank statements, loan applications, credit reports. My signature, or rather my mother's version of it, marched across the bottom of each page in a mockery of authority. They started small, Isabella explained. A store credit card here, a personal loan there. Always made minimum payments, just under the wire to avoid triggering fraud alerts. Strategic. I recognized the pattern. I'd prosecuted enough financial fraud cases to see the planning behind it. They knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't desperation. Liam settled into the chair beside me. This was calculated. My phone buzzed. Mother's face lit up the screen. A photo from Christmas, her smile bright and false. I turned the phone face down. The mortgage was their mistake, Isabella continued. They got cocky. Missed payments they couldn't cover. That's what triggered the bank's investigation. $16,000 in mispayments. The number echoed in my head. For Chloe's house. The one with the wraparound porch she couldn't possibly afford on a teacher's salary. Liam's jaw tightened. This isn't just fraud, Ellie. This is betrayal of trust. Family fraud cases are the hardest to prosecute. And the most important, Isabella added, her fingers drumming against her tablet. The emotional damage. I don't want to discuss emotional damage. I gathered the scattered papers into a neat stack. I want to discuss next steps. We have protocols for identity theft. Daniel Foster's voice crackled through the conference room speaker. Even when it's family. But you need to decide how far you want to take this. My phone buzzed again. A text this time. Dad's making his famous lasagna tonight. Everyone's coming over. We need to talk about some paperwork, sweetheart. The familiar endearment made my stomach clench. How many times had she called me sweetheart while forging my signature? While systematically destroying my credit? While using my identity to secure loans she never intended to repay? You don't have to go, Liam said quietly. Yes, I do. I slid the phone into my purse. I need to see their faces when they lie to me one more time. They'll manipulate you emotionally. His voice carried the weight of 20 years of friendship. You know that. I know. I stood, smoothing my skirt with trembling hands. But I'm not the same person they've been manipulating all these years. Isabella gathered her materials, her movements precise and efficient. We'll have everything ready when you decide how to proceed. The banks, the credit bureaus, the investigators. One word from you, and we move forward. I touched the stack of evidence we'd compiled. The paper felt cool under my fingers, solid, real. Unlike the family mythology I'd believed for so long. The responsible one, I murmured. That's what they always called me. The strong one. The one who could handle anything. Ellie, Liam's voice softened. You don't have to handle this alone. I picked up my grandmother's watch from where I'd set it aside while reviewing documents. The crystal caught the fading sunlight as I fastened it around my wrist. Her last gift. Her final warning about trust. I'm not alone. I met Isabella's steady gaze. Then Liam's concerned one. I have something better than family. I have allies. My phone buzzed a third time. Another text from Mother. Don't forget the garlic bread, sweetheart. You always bring the best bread. I slipped the phone back into my purse without responding. The weight of the evidence files felt solid in my briefcase as I lifted it. Outside the conference room windows, shadows lengthened across the city. Soon I would sit at my parents' dinner table, watching them serve up lies alongside lasagna. But first I had a stop to make. I need to see my investment advisor. Check my watch. My grandmother's watch. The one true thing I had left. I want to know exactly what they did with my portfolio before I face them. I'll come with you, Liam offered. I shook my head. No, I need to do this part alone. But keep your phone on. Always. He squeezed my shoulder. Just remember, they're counting on your silence. On your sense of family loyalty. Family loyalty. I paused at the door, my hand on the cool metal handle. Funny how that only ever worked in one direction. The elevator doors closed behind me with a soft chime. In my purse, my phone buzzed again and again and again. I didn't look at it. I didn't need to. I already knew what they were saying, what excuses they were preparing, what emotional weapons they were sharpening for tonight's performance. But they didn't know what I knew now. That strength isn't always about holding things together. Sometimes it's about letting them fall apart. Mother's lasagna scent wafted through the foyer, rich with garlic and oregano. The familiar aroma twisted my stomach instead of welcoming me home. My fingers brushed the documents in my shoulder bag, paper edges sharp against my skin. Eleanor. Mother glided toward me in her cornflower blue dress, arms outstretched. Her embrace felt like a trap. Perfect timing. Robert just pulled the garlic bread from the oven. The kitchen gleamed with the kind of artificial perfection Mother maintained when she wanted something. Crystal wine glasses caught the afternoon light. Father's special occasion tablecloth draped the table. The one reserved for holiday dinners and important conversations. Chloe hovered by the window, her fingers worrying the stem of her wine glass. Her eyes darted to my bag, then away. Sit, sit. Mother gestured to my usual place. Robert opened that Cabernet you love. I remained standing. No wine. Father emerged from the kitchen, lasagna dish cradled in his oven-mitt hands. Steam rose from the perfectly browned surface. He set it on the cork trivet with practiced care. There's my girl. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Been too long since we had a proper family dinner. 3 months and 8 days since they forged my signature on a mortgage application. How's the Garrison merger progressing? Mother ladled lasagna onto bone china plates. Her movements were too precise, too controlled. You mentioned the board presentation was. My bag weighed heavy against my hip. Inside, their forgeries and frauds waited like loaded weapons. The merger is fine. I watched Mother's hands as she served. The same hands that practiced my signature until they could replicate it. The board approved all projections. Of course they did. Father raised his wine glass. To my brilliant daughter. The crystal caught the light, just as it had 3 months ago when Mother slid those papers across the table. Just some birthday paperwork, honey. For tax purposes. My fingers found the documents in my bag. Time to end this performance. I pulled out the mortgage papers and laid them on the pristine tablecloth. The bank's logo gleamed black against white. The room went still. Mother's serving spoon hovered over the lasagna. A drop of sauce fell, red against white china. Would anyone like to explain why there's a mortgage in my name for a house on Willow Creek Drive? My voice stayed quiet, professional. The same tone I used in depositions. Chloe's wine glass hit the table too hard. Red liquid sloshed against crystal. Sweetheart. Mother's eyes filled with tears. Right on cue. The spoon settled back into the lasagna with deliberate care. We were just trying to help your sister. Help her. By committing fraud. Don't be dramatic, Father's authority voice, the one that used to make me shrink inside myself. Sometimes families need to support each other. Support. The word tasted bitter. By forging my signature. Stealing my identity. I was going to lose the house, Chloe's voice wobbled. The bank wouldn't extend my loan. Mom and Dad said you wouldn't mind. You're always helping me anyway. The unity of their manipulation hit me like a physical blow. They planned this, rehearsed it. You're the strong one, Mother whispered. You can handle this. It's just money. Just money. Just my signature. Just my credit. Just my reputation. Just my trust. The weight of their expectations pressed against my shoulders, the familiar burden of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who sacrifices. A lifetime of patterns crystallized in this moment. The constant pressure to give more, fix more, accept more for family. My chair scraped against the hardwood as I stood. The sound cut through their web of justifications. Silence filled the room like smoke. I gathered the documents with steady hands. Each paper a betrayal, each signature a wound. Eleanor, please. Mother reached for me. We can explain everything. I stepped back from her touch. Sit down, Father commanded. We're having a family dinner. The front door opened silently, closed with a soft click. I didn't look back. Son of a. Liam stared at his computer screen, jaw tight. Morning sun streamed through his office windows, painting his desk with stripes of light. This goes way beyond your mortgage. I leaned forward in my chair. What did Isabella find? He swiveled his monitor. Spreadsheets filled the screen, numbers marching in neat columns. Your parents have been running an investment scam through the Lakeside Country Club, using your name and professional reputation as bait. The room tilted slightly. I pressed my palm flat against his desk to steady myself. How much? 3.2 million. So far. His fingers drummed against his desk. Isabella traced money transfers to accounts in the Cayman Islands and Switzerland. The scope of their betrayal expanded like ripples in a pond, each wave revealing new damage. They used me, the words scraped my throat. Used my reputation to steal from their friends. From vulnerable seniors, Liam corrected. They targeted retirees looking for safe investments, promised guaranteed returns, backed by your legal expertise. Something snapped inside my chest. A lifetime of obligation breaking under the weight of truth. This isn't just about me anymore. Liam nodded, already reaching for his phone. I'll activate my Federal Bureau contacts and financial crimes. Isabella's building the evidence chain. Get Daniel from the bank involved too. My voice sounded different, harder. We need his fraud department. Liam's team assembled with military precision. Within hours, my office filled with federal agents, forensic accountants, and bank investigators. Each person adding threads to the web of evidence. I stood at my window watching them work. Their efficiency should comfort me. Instead, each new discovery felt like a fresh wound. Miss Vance. A junior agent appeared at my elbow. "We need you to review these victim statements." The stack of papers landed heavy in my hands. Names and amounts blurred together, until one stopped my breath. Margaret Albright, my high school English teacher. The woman who first taught me about justice through literature. Who wrote my Yale recommendation letter in her precise cursive. Investment amount, $247,000. Source, retirement savings. The paper crumpled in my suddenly tight grip. "Miss Vance." The agent shifted uncertainly. "Are you?" "I'm fine." The paper smoothed under my fingers. "And I'm going to make sure every victim gets their money back." My phone buzzed. Mother's number flashed on the screen. Decline. Another buzz. Father this time. Decline. A text from Chloe appeared. "If you do this, you'll destroy our family." Liam glanced up from his stack of evidence. "You okay?" I watched the sun set behind the city skyline. The light painted the clouds in shades of justice. They destroyed it themselves. The agent returned with more victim statements. Each page a person who trusted my family, who believed in my reputation. I reached for the papers with steady hands. Some things matter more than blood. The morning sun filtered through the blinds of Liam's corner office as I signed the last fraud report. My signature, my real one, curved across the bottom of each form with perfect precision. No maternal forgery this time. "Ready." Liam's voice carried a mix of concern and determination. "Check my watch. 7:58 a.m. 2 minutes. We timed everything down to the second. The fraud reports would hit 6 different agencies simultaneously at 8 a.m. sharp, the moment they opened their doors. Accounts would freeze. By 8:15, the official investigation notice would arrive at my parents' house. Certified mail, signature required. My phone buzzed. Isabella's text. "Bank team in position now." I pushed the stack of reports across Liam's desk. His assistant swept them up and disappeared, each report destined for a different courier. My mother's latest voicemail played in my head. "Sweetheart, please, you have to understand. We can explain everything." The tremor in her voice almost sounded real. Almost. The grandfather clock in Liam's office struck 8. Somewhere across the city, a postal worker rang my parents' doorbell. Somewhere else, my sister Chloe was probably walking into the elementary school where she taught 4th grade, wearing the clothes she'd bought with my stolen credit cards. My phone lit up. Daniel from Summit Ridge Bank. Accounts frozen. 3 attempted withdrawals blocked in the last hour. "They knew it was coming," Liam said, watching my face. Mother always could read me like a book. The irony tasted bitter. Even when I was trying to hide my Christmas list, she'd know exactly what I'd ask Santa for. "This isn't a Christmas list, Eleanor." "No." I smoothed my skirt, a nervous habit from childhood. "It's a document trail revealing millions in identity theft and fraud." The phone rang. My father's number. Straight to voicemail, Liam reminded me. I declined the call, but the voicemail notification popped up seconds later. My father's voice filled the room through the speaker. "Your mother is distraught, Eleanor. I've never seen her like this. Whatever you think we've done, we can work this out as a family. Tommy, Arthur Finch has been asking about you at the club. He's worried." "Arthur Finch," I repeated. "My father's tennis partner for 20 years. The retired investment banker who lost his wife last spring." Liam's eyes narrowed. "One of their targets. They used my name, my reputation, to steal from a grieving widower who's known me since I was 10. The words came out flat, emotionless. A prosecutor's recitation of facts. The door opened. Isabella stepped in, her usual professional calm replaced by barely contained urgency. "We have a problem." She placed a file on Liam's desk. Inside, a job application. My resume. My bar association number. My signature but not my handwriting. "Where?" The room tilted slightly. 3 law firms, 2 financial institutions. "Your sister's been busy." The granite paperweight on Liam's desk caught my eye. A gift from me after he made partner. Solid. Heavy. Real. The Bar Association. I whispered. Already notified, Liam said. I've got a call with the ethics committee in 20 minutes. We're ahead of this, Eleanor. Another text from Daniel. Documents secured. Bank staff providing sworn statements. My phone buzzed again. A number I recognized from the Lakeside Country Club. Then another and another. It's starting, Isabella said softly. The club members are figuring it out. The carefully constructed social facade my parents had built over 40 years was crumbling. Each call represented another crack in their foundation. My office phone lit up. Sarah, my secretary. Miss Vance, your sister's boyfriend is here. He's quite insistent about seeing you. Send him away, Liam ordered into the speaker. No. I stood straightening my jacket. I'll see him. Eleanor. In the conference room. With security present. 5 minutes later, Jason shifted in the uncomfortable conference room chair. His usually perfectly styled hair looked frazzled. His polo shirt wrinkled. Chloe's a mess, he started. She hasn't slept in days. She says it was all a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. The words came out soft, dangerous. Is that what she calls forging my signature? Using my law license? Stealing my identity? She didn't. I mean, your parents said. Get out. He blinked. What? Get out. And tell my sister that if she comes near my office, my home, or my professional credentials again, the next notification will come from the district attorney. The conference room door clicked shut behind him. Through the glass wall, I watched him hurry past the security guard, nearly tripping over his own feet. My phone pinged. An email from my father's attorney. They want a deal, Isabella said, reading over my shoulder. Of course they do. I closed the email without reading further. Mother's probably already planning how to pin everything on Dad. Right on cue, a text from my mother appeared. It was all your father's idea, sweetheart. I only went along because I deleted it before finishing. Miss Vance, Sarah again. Agent Thompson from the Federal Bureau is on line 1. They found something. The acid in my stomach churned. Put him through. His voice crackled through the speaker. Miss Vance, we've located a storage unit registered to your father. Multiple filing cabinets. Documents dating back 15 years. The room went silent. What kind of documents? Liam asked when I couldn't. Account statements. Loan applications. Forged signatures. Different names. Different states. My grandmother's Omega watch felt suddenly heavy on my wrist. Her last gift. Her last words. Stay strong, my girl. Not everyone deserves your trust. She'd known. Somehow she'd known. The morning sun still streamed through Liam's window, but it no longer felt warm. Each ray illuminated another betrayal, another lie, another victim I hadn't protected. My phone lit up one final time. Chloe. I'll tell them everything, her text read. I can't do this anymore. I placed the phone face down on Liam's desk. The family portrait behind him caught my eye. His real family, smiling, honest, true. What now? Isabella asked softly. The granite paperweight felt cool under my fingers. Solid like evidence. Like truth. Now, I said, we protect everyone else they plan to hurt. The grandfather clock struck 9. 1 hour since the first reports were filed. 1 hour since I'd officially declared war on the people who'd raised me. The morning was still young and I was just getting started. The marble steps of the district courthouse rose before me, each one marking another beat of my heart. I adjusted my charcoal suit jacket, my grandmother's Omega watch catching the morning light. Through the soaring columns, I spotted clusters of familiar faces from the Lakeside Country Club, their silver hair glinting in the sun. Inside courtroom 5B, the polished oak benches creaked with the weight of spectators. Mrs. Albright, my former high school English teacher, caught my eye from the third row. The gentle tilt of her chin spoke volumes, the same encouragement she'd given me before debate tournaments 30 years ago. My mother, father, and Chloe sat in the front row of the defendant section. Mother's perfectly coiffed hair couldn't hide the shadows under her eyes. Father's shoulders hunched beneath his expensive suit. Chloe twisted a tissue between her fingers, her wedding ring conspicuously absent. All rise. Judge Eleanor Davies swept into the courtroom, her black robes billowing. The rustle of bodies rising filled the air. My spine straightened automatically as I took my place at the witness stand. Please state your name for the record. Eleanor Marie Vance. My voice carried to every corner of the hushed room. Mother's attorney, Michael Preston, approached, practiced concern etched on his features. Miss Vance, isn't it true that your mother has always supported your career? That she attended every school play, every graduation? She attended them. The words tasted bitter. She also forged my signature on fraudulent loan documents. But surely you understand she was trying to help your sister. That's what families do, they help each other. Objection. Argumentative. Liam called from the prosecution table. Sustained. Preston adjusted his tie. Your mother has expressed deep remorse. She's offered to make full restitution. With whose money? The question sliced through his careful narrative. The retirement savings she stole from Mrs. Albright. The college fund she drained from the Jacobsons. He blinked, thrown off script. Father's attorney tried next, painting a picture of financial pressure, of a man desperate to maintain his family's standard of living. Mr. Vance never meant to cause permanent harm. He always intended to replace the funds. Like he replaced my college savings when I was 16. The old wound surfaced, finally serving a purpose. That was his first practice run, wasn't it? Testing how far he could push before someone pushed back. A murmur rippled through the courtroom. Judge Davies tapped her gavel once. Chloe's attorney, fresh out of law school, attempted to salvage something from the wreckage. Your sister has always looked up to you. She's expressed genuine remorse. She expressed remorse after she got caught. I met Chloe's tear-filled eyes. Not when she was living in a house bought with my stolen identity. Not when she was interviewing for jobs using my law credentials. Not when elderly victims were losing their life savings. The defense tried one last strategy, presenting a united front of family love gone wrong. Preston stood again, his voice gentle. Miss Vance, no one is denying mistakes were made. But surely this can be handled as a family matter without. Love doesn't forge signatures. My words rang in the sudden silence. Family doesn't steal identities. What you did wasn't for love. It was for greed. Judge Davies' glasses caught the fluorescent light as she leaned forward. Mr. Preston, I've heard enough about family matters. This court deals in facts. The facts show a sophisticated criminal enterprise that preyed on vulnerable victims, including the defendant's own daughter. The attempt to frame this as merely poor judgment within a family unit insults the intelligence of this court. She turned to my family. Robert Vance, please rise. Sometimes strength means saying no to family, I replied, my voice steady. Especially when they're hurting others. The sunset painted long shadows across my office carpet as I finished the day's paperwork. A movement caught my eye. A young woman pacing in the reception area, clutching a manila envelope. Her shoulders hunched forward, protective. I recognized that posture. I'd worn it myself not so long ago. Through the glass, I watched her gather her courage, squaring those hunched shoulders. My grandmother's words echoed. Stay strong, my girl. Not everyone deserves your trust. But some people did. Some people earned it, proved it, stood beside you when the world tilted sideways. I opened my office door. Come in. I understand what you're going through. A small smile softened my words. And I can help. The young woman's eyes met mine, desperate for hope. I gestured to the chair across from my desk. The same spot where I'd sat processing my own shock and betrayal. But this time the person behind the desk knew exactly how to help. That was the real strength. Not in silence or sacrifice, but in standing up, in breaking patterns, in turning personal wounds into shields for others. My grandmother's watch ticked softly, marking another moment of transformation, another step forward, another chance to prove that family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about choice, trust, truth. And sometimes it's about saying no to the people who raised you so you can say yes to the person you've become.